it wasn't that they were just white, they were dope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like, oh my God. So then,
and they're on stage in front of 20,000 people, so they're actually doing it in front of a lot of people as well.
Oh yeah, and they had, you know, Run DMC backing them, you know, basically co-signing for them. And it was just, I mean, that's what made me think that it could actually be possible. I think, you know, it can be done.
I think, you know, everyone needs a confidant in their life, and sometimes that can be a parent or a brother or a best friend. And in the case for you, it was Proof, someone who came through and, you know, saw you. For whatever reason, your paths collided, you know, and you met each other and you rapped at each other, and your life has never been the same ever since. Neither was his, you know. And you know, for you, he was just early on in that part of your career. He was your confidence, wasn't he? He was the guy that he was the hand on your back, pushing you to go.
Oh yeah, you know, whenever I thought like, if ever there, you know, Proof was the kind of person that I would go and play something for, and I would get like immediately get basically the criticism that I needed. You know what I mean? He would tell me like if something was whack, he would make fun of me for it, but he wouldn't do it in a mean way. He would like, we joke about it. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of how our relationship was. But you know, when I did hit something, when I was onto something, he would tell me, and he'd be like really adamant about it. You know what I mean? He would just be like, yo, people need to hear this. Whenever I'd make a demo tape, you know, for years we did this. We swapped demo tapes back and forth, and we used to bump each other's stuff. But he would come over like singing my stuff. Like he never really did it. It took years for him to do that. But then all of a sudden he started doing that, and it was like, you know, he knows what's going on, you know.
And then he took you down the hip-hop shop, Mon Malone's, man, which is an important part of your life. I mean, I know there was a story in the book where you talk about your first rhyme experience in front of a crowd, which everyone's is going to be terrible. You're never going to get up there and smash the crowd apart. You know, it's never going to happen. But you took a few years away from that, and then Proof was like, come on, dragged you down to the hip-hop shop and got you on the mic again.
Yeah, well, he didn't like physically drag me, but he told me, he basically said, you know, come down here tomorrow. He had called me and told me, you know, come down here tomorrow, try it out. There's going to be this battle going on or whatever. And something was going on down there. I'm not sure if it was, I think it was a battle. And he was telling me basically like, wait till most of the people clear out, like after the battle, and rhyme, you know, just, you ain't got to really battle nobody, just rhyme and let people hear you rhyme. And if you don't like it, you ain't got to do it again. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I ended up calling work and telling them that I was going to be a little late.
Where were you working at the time? What were you doing?
Gilbert's Lodge. I was a chef, a short order cook or whatever, you know. But I went down there, and I got, just from the few people there, it was like I got this response. It was like, it was crazy.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
That was like a turning point in my life. That's when I like really dug down and got serious with everything, you know, metaphorically, lyrically, paying attention to everything I said, you know, and making sure like everything was a punchline, because, you know, in rap, especially back then, everything was punchlines, you know, metaphors, punchlines, and you were trying to get oohs and ahs from whoever was there.
Something that's missing to me now. I wish more rappers were coming out and actually ended their 4 bars with some power, you know, as opposed to just like, you know, a connection to the next 4.
Yeah, you know who, just right offhand thinking about that, who's really good at that is Ludacris.
Yeah,
putting those punchlines together and all that.
Yeah.
He does.
It's like stand-up comedy for me when I hear his records sometimes, because he has me laughing out loud.
Great at it though, you know. It's like when you hear it, it's just like you're always waiting for what he's gonna say.
Whoa, don't slip up or get caught.
Why not, man?
I'm coming for that #1 spot. All right. Woo. Rappers swearing they on top. I'm coming for that #1 spot. All right, man. Scheme, plot. Say what? I'm coming for that #1 spot. Hey, keep it going and won't stop. What you doing, man? I'm coming for that #1 spot.
So you hooked up with D12 and you've got strength in numbers. You've got some unity, and you found some rappers who believe in you, and you believe in them, and you have a crew. And Proof, I think Proof came up with the idea of like everyone has an alias, you know, we'll call ourselves the Dirty Dozen. And then, you know, you need to do something very important everyone needs to do. You need to take a dump. You need to go and, you know, sit on the toilet, have a bowel movement. And this is where divine inspiration strikes you.
Yeah. This is not a lie. I was sitting on the toilet, and I was just, a lot of good material comes out of that, you know? I mean, you know, so that was my little moment of solitude there, and I just this name pops into my head, like, you know, I was kind of skinny, and I was like, maybe it should be something slim, you know what I mean? And then just for some reason, Slim Shady popped into my mind, and I just thought of 20 things to rhyme with it right off the bat, and I was like, this is it. I go in my little room, and I wipe my ass, you know,
It's important to get
once. And I went back in the room, and I was like, I just kept writing, and was like, that's when I wrote Just Don't Give a F.
Yeah.
And it started out.
Slim Shady, brain dead like Jim Brady.
Slim Shady, brain dead like Jim Brady.
So the imagery, the contextualization of who he was going to become as a character was already flowing to you very quickly.
Oh, yeah. I had already wrote, like, one thing that was, I didn't even have a name for it. It was just like this freestyle. It was just like, Bazaar got on the track, and at the end of it, he said, you have now witnessed a white boy on drugs. And it was like, okay, well, maybe I'll do that, and I'll make that my thing, you know? And then it just kind of developed over, you know, the next couple of songs or whatever. And then it started, it was kind of an outlet for me to say, to be able to say things that I always wanted to, you know? Once I found that, it was like, okay, I got it. You know, this is what Proof wants. You know what I mean? And this is what it should be.
Yeah. Well, you know, we'd had these rappers who were white who'd come out and been lyrical and been brilliant in third base, and we'd had these rappers who had come out and been outrageous in a different way in the Beastie Boys, but we never had both. And that's what Slim kind of was. When I first heard your character in Slim Shady, that's the punchline I've been missing in rap.